do have a quorum established, call to order, and let's take a moment of silence followed by the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is part 3 of public hearing pursuant to Texas Local Government Code Section 180.007 regarding possible retention incentive stipend. I'll have to read something, bear with me please. Board, on the agenda is a public hearing pursuant to Texas Local Government Code Section 180.007, which requires a public hearing to be held if any payment is made to an employee or former employee that exceeds the amount owed to them under a contract. As such, this item has been properly posted and a sign-in sheet has been provided for the public to speak if they so desire. Later tonight, the board will consider a one-time incentive stipend for the 2024-2025 school year for employees who remain employed for the 2024-2025 school year. If adopted, a portion of the general maintenance and operations fund will be divided among bracket ISD employees as follows. Full-time professional and/or supervisory staff will receive $1,100. All other full-time employees will receive $600. Part-time professional and/or supervisory staff will receive $650, and all the other part-time employees will receive $300. If approved, only individuals employed by Bracket ISD as of November 18, 2024, and through May 29, 2025, would be eligible for the stipend. Based on the preceding, the following information is provided. Number 1, public purpose. If the board approves the one-time incentive stipend for the 2024-2025 school year, contingent upon employees remaining employed for the full 2024-2025 school year, this stipend would serve the legitimate public purpose of encouraging employee retention, ensure continuity of staff so that operations of the district run smoothly, and encourage all staff members to complete their entire work assignment for the 2024-2025 school year. 2, proposed payment to be made. If the board approves the one-time incentive stipend, a portion of the general maintenance and operations fund will be distributed among Bracket ISD employees as follows. Full-time professional and/or supervisory staff will receive $1,100. All other full-time employees will receive $600. Part-time professional and/or supervisory staff will receive $650. And all other part-time employees will receive $300. If approved, only individuals employed by Bracket ISD as of November 18, 2024, and through May 29, 2025 will be eligible for the stipend. 3, source of proposed payment will be general maintenance and operations fund. 4, assurance and control. If the board approves the stipend, the resolution establishing the stipend will set out the exact terms and be available for review by the public, since it will be attached to the minutes of the meeting once approved. Each speaker who has signed up to speak at this hearing will be allowed 2 minutes to make your comments. If no one signs up, the board minutes will reflect that a hearing was offered and no speakers were present to speak. No speakers for the public hearing. This concludes the public hearing. Moving on, item 4, consideration and possible action to approve public resolution related to a one-time retention incentive stipend to eligible employees. Mrs. Dees.
So as per superintendent's goal and district goal 4 regarding teacher retention, I recommend that the continuation of the retention stipend for the 24-25 school year be completed. As per TEC code, a public hearing was included in this meeting. The staff retention stipend requires the staff to sign a letter indicating they are receiving the stipend to encourage employment until the end of the school year. If an employee leaves prior to the end of the school year, repayment will be required. The letter that the staff members must sign is attached. It is the Brackett ISD Retention Incentive Agreement. It is the recommendation of the administration to approve a resolution related to a one-time retention incentive stipend for eligible employees.
Do I have a motion to accept the administration's recommendation?
I so move.
Polly makes the motion.
I second.
Nano seconds. Is there any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor? Pass unanimously. Moving on, item 5, recognitions.
So, this month we are recognizing students. So last month, you recall, we recognized staff. This month, we would like to recognize some students. So I'm going to start at the elementary, and so I'll ask Mr. Miller to. So our first student being recognized from Jones Elementary tonight is Miss Nayeli Felan. So Nayeli is being recognized for her outstanding work as a student at Jones Elementary. So congratulations. And then come around this way, sweetheart. I'd like to shake your hand until you do it. The next student being recognized from Jones Elementary is Guillermo Maciel, and he is being recognized for his dedication, his hard work, and his commitment. Guillermo? All right. Our third student being recognized from Jones Elementary is Angelina Moore.
Their family is at a junior high event.
So she's being recognized for her dedication and commitment to reading. Our next student being recognized from Jones Elementary is Kelly Brown. So we'd like to recognize Kelly for her academic growth. She continues to make great improvements at school. Good job.
There we go. Good job.
Come over here, speak over. All these people want to tell you a great job. You shake the hands, I know it's a little nervous, right? Is
What
this
grade are you in, sweetheart? First grade, congratulations.
There you go. All those important people want to tell you good job.
Good job.
So thank you, Mr. Miller, for sharing those wonderful students. And we have one more that we want to recognize from Jones Elementary, and that is Javier Esparza. So Javier is being recognized tonight for his very positive attitude, Xavier Esparza.
There you go. Good job.
Xavier, come this way.
There we go.
All these important people want to tell you good job. Here she is. There you go. So again, one more round of applause for Nayeli, Guillermo, Angelina, Kelly, and Xavier. Good job. And now we'll move on to our secondary students. Jimenez. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of my recent Facebook posts about all the great things happening, and secondary has surely shown what a tremendous job our students are doing in different levels and different things. So we'd like to start off by recognizing our state cross-country runner, Matthew Schwatner. So Matthew came in 19th at state, and he beat his personal best. So he is is on his way to even doing greater things than you're a junior this year, right? So back in state next year. Matthew actually kicked off our state showings for this year. So we started off by having a cross-country runner at state, and then we continued with our band members making state for the first time ever in the history of Brackett ISD. So it was extremely exciting. So we'd like to recognize our senior leaders who helped get us there. So, and a lot of them are not here tonight because it was college night, and so they're out in Del Rio learning about colleges. So Jeremy Creech, Daniel Perez, Katie Castro, Leilani Aguilar, Abigail Malloy, and Avery Beard. So congratulations to our seniors. Katie is representing them all tonight, right? She's the senior rep.
But you guys can run if you want to.
That's what Matthew's doing right before we got. He's getting ready for track, hopefully track state.
Good,
And
yes.
then a bunch of solo and ensemble band stuff too.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congrats, kiddos. Yes, you know. Move on to consent agenda. We have about a week for these. Is there anything you guys want to pull out of this?
If somebody would like to read out the donations, just for record.
Yes, ma'am. I'll start from the top, I guess. Okay. Is there an amount, or is there one that?
You have to open each
Oh,
one,
okay.
sorry.
I'd like to recognize the Booster Club for donating $1,000 for the football tunnel donation. And the Geo Group Foundation, $200 for staff appreciation. Roy and Claudia Falcon, $250 for, let's see,
It was for the
a
day.
band donation, nice.
Very nice.
Angels Gift Tournament Association. Let's see, they did twice, 2 donations,
For a total of $1,500.
a total for $1,500? Wow.
It's covered the meal at the
Oh, the
Riverwalk, the Riverwalk for the band, correct?
It partially covered it, yes. It assisted in covering the meal for our band students at the Riverwalk.
For state band meeting.
Yes.
Nice. And the FFA donation received from Ms. Yolanda Rueda, $50 for FFA donation. Nice, thank you, appreciate that. Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Polly makes a motion, Matt makes a second, all in favor? Moving on to informational items. 7A, District Improvement Plan, Campus Improvement Plan, Ms. Diaz, Mr. Jimenez, and Mr. Miller.
So this is our first formative review for this year's district and campus improvement plans. Last year, when we did them, there was a request from a board member to have some more information other than just the percentage showing. So we were able to find this report that shows formative review with notes. So if you just open the district improvement plan, and if you'll go like to page 4 on goal 1, performance objective 1, what you'll see is that for each strategy, in the review column, it tells you where we are in regards to that strategy. And then we did put in some notes or evidence of support. So for example, strategy 1 is implementing the planning protocol in order to establish an effective and aligned procedure for data analysis, instructional planning, and the implementation of TEAC's resource. The goal for that strategy is to improve the student learning, and the staff responsible is the superintendent, the director of instruction accountability, and campus administration. So this strategy is really an ongoing strategy, so we won't be complete with this strategy until the end. But we did rate it at about a 50% because there's been certain things that have already been completed in order to ensure that this is taking place. Number 1, both principals had to work with master schedules to find time for the teachers to actually have within their schedule to plan. They have an additional 60 minutes built into their day for planning. We also, through the work of our Director of Instruction and Accountability, the dashboard is up and running, continues to be revamped and worked on so teachers can use it effectively. And then the Teacher Curriculum Committee has also met a few times to revamp and get feedback and talk through some things. So you'll notice, like I said, on the formative that most of the goals, the strategies are going to be about at 50%. Again, we're really close to halfway through the year. Then there are some that you're going to see like, oh, it might be completed already, or it's not applicable. Some of it may not be applicable because it hasn't happened yet, so we're not there yet. Maybe we're waiting to hold CTE 9 or something to that effect. But I think if you just kind of scroll through the district and the campus, you're going to see that most goals are anywhere between 30 and 50%. Our professional development strategies are a little bit less because we still have professional development scheduled in December and in February, so those are coming out at about 15%. So just kind of depending on where it is. The one on the Guardian program, we've had our training, we've gotten that information out, so that one's actually at 100% already. But if y'all have any specific questions, I can take those. If not, all the information is there for both the district and the campus. The next review will be scheduled for January.
Anybody have any questions on it? No? Okay, moving on. 7B, ACE grant program update. I'm sorry.
Is there a presentation?
The presentation is on, they have it on here, so they can,
So you can see if they want to open it and scroll, and I can
Yeah.
explain.
and I don't know if we can, cast it. We'll try. Like, Bella will try.
Oh, no,
I would pass the baton over there. So last year was our first year with the ACE program, and our director at that time was Ms. Watkinson. Ms. Newman has now taken over this position, and she has done a great job for us, making sure that year 2 is just as good, if not better, than year 1 as we kind of worked through some kinks. See. We might need some backup.
I was going to say, that show was a lot more interesting than my PowerPoint. It's going. Just thinking about it. Yay, what else is the name?
I know. Go to, maybe if you, oh, there we go. Awesome.
Oh, you have it. It just wants to jump off your screen.
There we go. through there.
We just scroll up to the next one. So, one of the big things, or the most important thing, is our students. And because this is grant funded, we do have a goal that we are required to meet that was written into the grant. Our goal is 110 students, and whenever I turned this in to be presented to you, we had 71, but we just enrolled a new student today. So we are always open for enrollment. We're enrolling new students all of the time. So we currently have 72 of the 110 that is our goal. And we do get quite a few of them during summer school too. And so keep in mind that we have, this is not including our summer school numbers. So the fact that we already have 72 students and we're pretty close to our goal is pretty amazing. The second part of that is that these students during the school year have to commit to 60 days attendance. And so the students on the first slide, those students have 30 or more days already. And so that means they're halfway towards meeting their goal already for this year, which is a pretty significant accomplishment for them. And so to award them, thank you, we'll scroll up. So to award them, the Hope Center donated some pumpkins. Unfortunately, they couldn't part with 70 at that time. And so the students that had the 30 days of attendance, which it was a little more than 30 of them, received free pumpkins from the Hope Center, and they got to decorate them and take them home. So they are extremely excited about their pumpkins. On the next few slides, you'll see some of the activities. Our grant requires 4 different types of programming that we actually have to offer on a daily basis. So our schedule has to include daily academics, daily enrichment, career and college readiness activities, and physical activity. So some of the programs that we have are continuing from last year, and then we've introduced some new ones. So the first one, Crazy 8's Math Club, is actually a new club that we started this year. 3rd and 4th graders go to the club once a week for an hour, and they do hands-on math activities. This is the second time that I've presented them in one of our slideshows, but this was the activity that they were doing that week, which was with money, and you can see that they're very engaged and very excited about that. The second one is part of our career and college courses. It's learning how to use drones. Mr. C teaches that class, and they actually learn how to draw peacocks and dragon eggs on a specific target, and that's important. If you know anything about forest fires, that's actually what the drones are used for. They have to make their target, and so that's what those kids are working on in those pictures. We have lots of different arts and crafts activities that go on. We offer art at least one time a week. Some of the younger students have it more often. In this picture, we have Ms. Retta, who donated her time to actually show our students how to sew. So they brought in bags to recycle. So we talked about recycling and how that was important to our environment. And it's called a yo-yo, right, Ms. Retta? A yo-yo?
It's called a yo-yo.
It's called a yo-yo. The circle is called a yo-yo, and they stitched it with blunt needles, and then they had to stuff it with bags, and then they made a pumpkin to take home. If you'll scroll up. And then our food lab is also run by Ms. Retta right now. It's a very popular class. They make everything from scratch, and so we're able to put a couple of different programs together to get this to an hour and a half, because she has them reading, they're working on a recipe from scratch, they're measuring, they're doing math, and they're doing the college and career readiness. All right. We also have a book club for our older students, and that was one of the projects that they worked on. And then some of the physical activity that Ms. Jessica helps us with is cheer. You'll see basketball there, and then we also do volleyball. We do have to have a parent meeting every month, at least one. And so in September, our focus was literacy. At that meeting, we asked parents for their feedback. Parent feedback is very important, and we asked them, what could we do differently? What could we do better? And they said, everything's amazing. We love everything I'll do, and it's great. And I was like, well, we need a little bit more than that. They did ask us if we could incorporate math into our parent nights, and then something with cooking. And so we did do math literacy in October. We created games for different grade levels, and it was a game that they could take home and continue playing at home and learning with it. It did have open-ended capabilities where they could go through different operations to continue their
So are you
learning.
teaching the parents math?
Yes. So that's what we were working on here. We were teaching them how to play the game with their students, and some of them actually had their calculators out on their phones, making sure that the math was correct. And then we just finished one last week, which was literacy and cooking, and so we showed the parents how they can get kids interested in literature by pairing it with an activity, and so our food lab students made Thanksgiving cookies, and they got to decorate them after reading the book. And we have many more fun things planned for the rest of the year. Another component of our grant that's very important is our partnerships. And so certain partnerships were written into the grant, and I'm happy to say that we have been in contact with all of those entities, and we do have those ongoing partnerships with them. The first one that you'll see is pretty significant. The South Texas Food Bank, they provide a free supper, a hot supper to our students daily. It includes an entree, vegetable, fruit, milk, and juice, which a cafeteria staff member helps and prepare, and Ms. Hortha does too. You can see from last year's totals, through the school year and the summer, they actually started that late. They donated over $23,500 to our program. And then that continues again this year. The Hope Center, they find us reduced pricing on items so that we can send our students home with groceries over the weekend, which is very important because we know that we live in a high-need community. And so we call them backpacks. They're actually bags, but they get 2 proteins, 2 vegetables, 2 fruits, 2 breakfasts, and 2 snacks. And usually the cost of all of those meals per child is between $1 or $2. So it's a significantly reduced cost for what they're getting. We've been in contact with Mr. Allen in the Kinney County, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Office. We do have plans. They're very busy right now. This is kind of their busy season, but they're going to be providing volunteers. They have some volunteer activities where the students will come in and kind of do mentorships and work with our students on tutoring and then some enrichment activities. And then with Sheriff Coe and the Sheriff's Department, student mentorships, and then he likes to come in and read to our students. And that is the end of our ACE update. Do you guys have any questions?
This is all happening after 3:30 then, is that correct?
Yes, sir. So starting at 3:30, elementary students are dismissed from class straight to the cafeteria where we feed them. And then at 4, the tutors pick them up.
And they dismiss that
We dismiss at 6.
after their supper?
Well, they have supper for 30 minutes. At 4, they go with their classes. And then, like I said, there's 4 things that we have to offer, and each one of those cannot last less than 30 minutes. So that's 2 hours.
Very good.
Thank you, Ms. McCoy, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
And moving on to 17, the LASSO grant.
So the LASSO grant was an opportunity that is being provided by the Texas Education Agency. It is a, what they call a competitive grant. So I did submit to apply for this grant on behalf of Brackett ISD. I thought that it was very well aligned to what we were trying to do. The first part of it had strong foundations planning, SFP, as one of the descriptors. And so if you see on the notification, the strong foundations planning provides direct grant funds to LEAs for technical assistance to develop a strong instructional framework in math and literacy based in the research-based instructional strategies, RBIS, to guide teaching and learning in the LEA. It's basically something that LEAs who are looking to improve high-quality professional learning, who are looking to support the instructional framework, using assessments. So it was very much an instructional focus grant, which will allow us to purchase resources. It will allow us to give stipends for mentors or instructional coaches. So we were eligible to apply for the SFP, so I did go ahead and submit for that grant. They are planning on awarding 100 to 200 LEAs, and the estimated funding available is $24 million. So the award can range from $120,000 to $300,000. So basically, they look at our data, they look at our plans, they look at what I submitted, and then they provide us with that information, with that amount of funding based on what they feel our needs are. The second part of the LASSO grant that we applied for is called the Technology Lending Grant. And this program description basically was very much aligned to what we already do with technology. It's providing equipment and digital instructional materials for school and at home, so our one-to-one initiative. So this could possibly help us with the purchase and maintenance of equipment for our, what they call a lending program, because we lend out our technology to the students so that way they can work at home. For this one, they're looking to award only 50 to 100 school districts, and we can receive up to $225,000. So that was just some information on 2 grants that I did apply for, and I did include on the second sheet there just the confirmation showing thank you for submitting your application. The applications are open until December 13th, and we should hear sometime in February if we were awarded these grants. So again, we continue to look for grants that are aligned to things that we're doing that can support things that we already do. So we'll wait and see on the last grant.
Thank you. Good job. 7B, Rhino-Ware update. Yes.
So if you recall at the last board meeting, we had Sheriff Coe and a gentleman from Rhino-Ware come and give a presentation on his system. So if you do a little bit of research, there's lots of systems that are similar to Rhino-Ware that have the lockdown and installation process. This is one of many companies that sell this type of device for lockdowns. He requested, in order to give us a quote, our school maps, so that way they could look to see where they felt that the Rhino-Ware would need to be installed. And if you scroll to page 3 of the entire packet, the proposal for acquisition and installation of Rhino-Ware lockdown system comes out to $153,235. So that's the total. As I shared with you all in a board email, we do currently have we did through A1 lock and key order the intruder locks. So we are in compliance with this is not a compliance thing that we need to purchase. So we don't need to purchase Rhino-Ware in order to be in compliance. I just want to assure the board that we are in full compliance. If this is a direction that the board would like to go, we currently do not have it in the budget, so it is something that now that we have this packet, we can consider it in the future when we're looking at our budget process. But he did share this information with me as an update. You'll see that he also included the maps that I shared with him on where he's saying that we needed to install them. But again, I just wanted to assure you that this isn't something we need to move towards in order for compliance. It would be additional security system, and because of the cost, it would have to go out through our procurement policy. So it's not something that we would automatically be able to give this company. Because of the total cost, it would have to go through our procurement process.
Which means extra bids.
It means we'd have to put it out.
Yes.
So we'd have to basically put out a description of what we're looking for, and then open it up to other people to also be able to bid.
After the presentation, did he ever indicate to anybody on staff that if you bought so many, we would discount any of the product?
No, sir. No, the next contact I received from him was that if I provided him with some campus maps, that he could give me a better quote, because then he could see where he felt like they would be necessary. Again, the information is there, because we've already approved the budget for this year, and because of the total amount and the procurement that is required, I think it's something that maybe we could revisit and really start our budget planning in the future.
Edmund Houston in the audience, you guys have any questions for him? Oh,
I thought it was relevant.
I
good. I do think that, given our, current budget constraints and the, uncertainty with the legislature right now, as they're about to do whatever they're gonna do, unless we fall into a big old pile of money, this is something we kind of want to plan for.
Correct.
And, we've got what we need to do that.
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you, okay, moving on then, action items, H.
Should we move for, there's no.
No, that's information.
Yeah.
8A, consider possible action regarding the Texas Department of Agriculture 2024 summer feeding program. That's something to do with.
Good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening.
I always come see you in November.
I know.
That's a standing date.
It's the best.
I have to have on record before November 30th, a waiver to not provide a summer program. We choose not to do the summer program mainly because of transportation and getting students into the cafeteria. It has to go to the SHAC committee, and then I have to apply for it by January 31. There does have to be notification that you had discussion about it and asked me questions and whatever you needed to do. I believe Amalia put some items in your packet about what we plan to do. Mrs. Newman is going to provide summer school to summer participants during summer school, those that are in the ACE program, from what I understand. I don't know that that's going to include high school, but I do know it will include all the children in the elementary school. So there will be a summer program. I also put out pamphlets and flyers given to me by the state of Texas, and those go home before the end of the school year, stating there's a number they can call to find the closest location to get a summer meal. So I'm requesting that we waive the opportunity to do summer school feed.
So it is the recommendation of the administration to approve the resolution to request for a waiver for the Texas Department of Agriculture for BISD to opt out of providing a 2025 summer nutrition program.
Free to answer any questions you might have.
It says in the past that there has not been a large participant. Do you have any numbers on that?
One year we didn't do it, and Mrs. Watkinson did it at the Hope Center. We were remodeling the kitchen due to a health inspection, and we had to do walls and floors. Towards the end, she said she had literally 2 students.
Two?
2 that would show up. And I had to admit this, but she said they were her grandchildren. It starts out good, and then as it progresses, students sleep in or just don't go. And she said she had a lot of waste because she would prepare food for 30, 40 students, and then she'd end up having 5 or 6 students. I've never done a summer program, so I can't say from experience, but speaking to the ladies in the cafeteria who have done it, have stated the same. It starts out pretty strong, and then as the days go by, less and less students come.
And because we do ACE, we're covered. Because the kids who will be at summer school will get a meal.
And one of the exceptions is transportation also, so we follow mainly on no transportation.
No transportation.
And the cost of transportation and the cost of maintaining the leisure. For
We have to do it 30 days, and so that's a long period of time when you think that summer is 4 days of a school day, school week.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the entire summer, so I have a really hard time. But when I asked the ladies if any of them were interested, none of them raised their hand. They just, and with that, also a manager has to be there, and I believe there's only 3 of us on campus that have a manager's license. So one of us has to be there in order to have it summer feeding. I'm sorry, guys, I really don't know this. So are there any other questions that I can answer for you?
I think if we're covered, then, yeah.
Do I have a motion to accept the administration's recommendation?
So moved.
Matt makes a motion.
I'll second.
Wait seconds. During discussion. All in favor? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edel.
8B, consider impossible action regarding the 2024-2025 Title I, Part C Migrant Education Program. Action plans to be included in the 24-25 district improvement plan.
So as you saw in a previous agenda item, we have our district and campus improvement plans. In addition to that, those plans were supposed to have an addendum that includes something specifically for our migrant education program. So this is something that we do annually to identify some specific things that we do in regards to our migrant education program. We have seen a significant decline in the number of migrant students. The migrant education program requires the local agencies to include all program activities, services, plans, and guidelines in a migrant-specific section of the district improvement plan. This section must be updated annually. The priority for service, the PFS action plan, is a required program activity for the migrant education program under the Every Student Succeeds Act, the ESSA Act. So attached to your board agenda is the 2024-25 Migrant Education Program IDR Action Plan and the 24-25 MEP SSA PFS Action Plan. It is the recommendation of the administration to approve the migrant education program to be included in the migrant-specific section of the district improvement plan.
Do I have a motion to accept the administration's recommendation?
So moved.
Tully makes a motion.
Second.
Melvin seconds. Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Pass unanimous.
Thank you.
8C, consider impossible action regarding deferred payments for Zero Solar.
Oh, then you gave me.
Oh, sorry.
The calendar.
The calendar, okay. 8C, consider impossible action regarding district calendar revision. Mrs. Diaz and Mrs. Price.
So, Mrs. Price and I always work together with the attendance committee on the district calendar. The district calendar always includes professional development days, work days, the student holidays, when the 6 week ends and it starts and stops. This year, one of the things that we did different was the planning protocol. So where we're asking teachers to upload their lessons, to use the TEACS resource system, to include differentiation strategies, and we're putting it up on a dashboard. It was a struggle to get it going, but we feel like we're really working on building our dashboard, and we've seen some great improvements. Even though we gave the teachers the 60 minutes, okay, there was this feeling from the curriculum committee and from the staff that 60 minutes gets them going, and then it was time to stop. And they had to go back to class, you know, just as they were getting going. So we talked about being able to give them some curriculum days. Visited with the campus principals, they went back to department leaders, to grade level leaders, and they agreed that they would like these curriculum planning days. In looking at the calendar, we felt like we had extra minutes, and instead of pulling them away from students, okay, we could actually build in some curriculum days, number one. And then the second thing we were hearing was due to the fact that we kind of changed the way we did PD at the beginning of the year, we gave more work days to help them set up the classroom. There's a lot of required training through Vector Solutions that they have to do, and they felt like they really didn't have the time to get all of those done. So what we were hearing a lot was, we don't have enough time for curriculum, and we don't have enough time for our work days. So we went back to the district advisory committee, and we proposed some calendar changes that would allow for 3 curriculum planning days. So during these days, there's no students, okay, and teachers are required to work on curriculum. So you build your 6 weeks test, you review your benchmark data, you look at lesson plans, so all just focused on the instructional component. And then we were able to add 2 workday / flex days. So on the teacher workday, on the teacher workday / flex day, it really goes back to the teacher. What do you need to do? Okay, I'm behind on grades, so I'm gonna work on grades. Perfect, work on grades. I need to make my copies, or I need to be on the phone because I need to have parent conferences, or whatever it is that they felt they needed to do to get them ahead. Now, we added flex day there because a teacher felt like I would like to invite 5 kids to come who I know are significantly behind, then they could also invite students to come if they chose, okay? So it wouldn't be like last year's flex day where we told them you have to invite students. They have the option to invite students, okay? Or they have the option to utilize it as a work day. Now, as campus administrators, we'll utilize those days for student attendance makeup, discipline days. So if a teacher's not inviting a student, Mr. Jimenez or Mr. Miller may still be inviting students because they have hours to make up, or they had a discipline issue. So it was originally 6 days, but because of the day that we took for the state band competition, it went down to 5. So it would be 3 curriculum planning days and 2 flex days / teacher work days. We are still over minutes even by adding those days, okay? So we had 7.29 days extra, which totaled 78,990 minutes. Now we still have 1.2 days extra because we're at 76,200 and the state only requires 75,600. So just so y'all understand the process, once we took it to the district advisory committee, it was not a done deal. Okay, so the district advisory committee said, okay, let's put it out there, let's see if this will work. Then we put it out to all staff about the proposed calendar change to make sure that this was something that our faculty really felt like needed to be done. So we had 6 staff members that were against the change. Out of those 6 staff members, 4 were teachers. So only 4 teachers didn't like this change. All the other teachers were for the change. And again, curriculum planning would be district-wide. These are dates before a holiday, so they're typically poor attendance days, and so we're hoping that that will help some. And then the teacher work days, it would be classroom work, parent conferences, grading, etc. So it is the recommendation for us. Let me go back
Was
to.
there any notes about what the teachers, what projections there were?
No. But Mr. Bernardi, there wasn't a place where they could put that in the vote, but they did all receive an email where they could give feedback to their department head. And I didn't get any.
Feedback? Okay.
No, there was some that on their teacher work day, are we gonna have district faculty meetings? And I said, no, we're not gonna have district faculty meetings. Are you gonna make us have ARD meetings? No, we're not gonna have ARD meetings. So they wanted to make sure that if it said teacher work day, that it would be a true teacher work day, and we would not be pulling them for other things. And I assured them that that was the plan. So our approved calendar included extra minutes for 7 days. A district advisory committee was held, including department heads and grade level leaders on 10/29 to discuss the possible use of the 7 days. Below is the recommendation for using 6 of the 7 days. One is the school closure for the state band competition, which was November 12th, and then curriculum planning district-wide days, November 22nd, January 17th, March 14th. Flex day / work day, February 7th and April 4th. February 7th and April 4th are the Fridays before the end of the 6 weeks. So the teachers felt like that was a good day for them to just kind of get caught up on the stuff that they needed to get caught up in as you end the 6 weeks.
Quick question, sorry. Flex days, the teachers have what they want to do. What are the rest of the parents and?
So usually I put that back on the principals. And so I know in the past, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're assigned to a grade level. So a para is assigned, like you're gonna go help kinder, you're gonna go help first grade, you're gonna help the science department, you're gonna help the math department. Also, if we are bringing in students, okay, for attendance purposes or for makeup grades, they may be overseeing the computer lab, or they may be overseeing kids in the library who are here to make up hours. So, but they are given an assignment. So it is the recommendation of the administration to approve the district calendar with the revisions as presented.
Okay, Do I have a motion to accept the administration's recommendation to approve the district calendar as presented?
I make a motion.
Alan makes a motion.
Second.
Matt seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? That's unanimous. Okay, now moving on to D. Consider and possible action regarding deferred payments for Zero Solar.
So I know it's been a while, but when this came up back in October, that they were requesting a deferred payment, there was y'all to follow up and get some advice. And so I did email y'all from the attorney basically saying that we could accept this, that it's not like we can request interest, it's just us approving that that we accept their deferral. So basically, what the attorney stated was that as part of the value limitation agreement between Zier Solar and Rocket ISD, Casey calculates the financial impact of the limitation on the district's finances. That invoice was then sent to Zier Solar for payment. This tax year, 2024, is the first year of the limitations. This is all still kind of new to us because it's the first year that we're getting this revenue protection payment. Casey calculated the financial impact to the district and determined that the 2024 Chapter 313 agreement revenue loss payment to Brackett ISD is $845,341. The total payment owed to Brackett ISD for 2024 is $899,341. Altogether, this amount is $15,291.70 more than the company would have paid absent the board's approval of the agreement. So the company is not disputing that they owe this amount. However, the company has requested to defer a portion of this payment, $81,982, until January 31st of 2026. If the district agrees to the deferral, the 2024 payment would be $817,359. If you recall the notifications that were put out in the newspapers and stuff about us getting $11.7 million, it's a little bit short. It's actually a total of $817,359. It is the total amount of the tax savings realized by the company for tax year 2024 because they entered into the agreement with Brackett ISD. The company would still owe the $81,982 in the 2025 tax year, in addition to the $15,000 supplemental pay and other anticipated revenue loss payment due to the expected increase in the project's taxable value next year. So based on our legal advice, it is the recommendation of the administration to accept the payment deferral request of $81,982 from Zier Solar until January 31st, 2026.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the administration's recommendation to approve the deferral payment from Zier Solar of $81,982 until January 31st, 2026? Wade makes a motion.
Second.
Tony seconds. Any discussion?
Well, I think that, this is one of those things where we're being asked to extend the courtesy to these folks. And I think that we should be very mindful of, opportunities where we can do that sort of a thing, especially when we're not able to charge, as they say, big. I guess the only worry I would have is if they suddenly shut down tomorrow.
Right. That's the only thing, but that's the bankruptcy of January 1st. That's.
No more short, we're out $81,000. They have reached out already, and we're just waiting for us to approve this so they could get us our money. So I do feel comfortable that the January payment is coming because they did reach out to see if I had gotten this approved. That way they would know they could proceed. So that gives me a good sense of that it's coming.
I think it's a good example of how the board is being reasonable with an entity outside the district. It's been very reasonable.
Okay. All in favor? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 8E, consider possible action regarding resolution declaring school closure.
So I am required to bring a resolution to the board regarding the school closure that took place for the state band competition. So because it was part of the teacher contracts. Okay, so teachers, staff members were getting paid for that day. We do need to bring a resolution to the board that we do pay them for that day. So policy DE8 local states that during an emergency closure, all employees shall continue to be paid for the regular duty schedule unless otherwise provided by board action. Following an emergency closure, the board shall adopt a resolution or take other board action establishing the purpose and parameters for such payment. So if you look at the resolution there, because I know it was like, well, it was an emergency. Well, the emergency was that the Mighty Tiger Band advanced to state, and whereas the superintendent determined to close the school due to challenges with staffing and operations. So we knew we were going to have a lot of teachers out, we knew we were going to have a lot of students out. So the resolution is requesting that we go ahead and pay teachers for that day due to our closure. It is the recommendation of the administration to approve the resolution declaring school closure on November 12, 2024.
Do I have a motion to accept the administration's recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Matt makes the motion. Emil seconds. Any discussion?
For Mr. Guzman and Mr. Massagill that were there, we filled the house. It was
Yeah.
awesome to
I
see.
saw the interview.
It was great.
Rockwell showed up.
Rockwell.
Amazing experience.
Well, it shows how much we truly love our kids.
Absolutely.
Well, you should have seen the game Friday.
It was
You
amazing.
saw our stands.
Yeah.
Burton's was pretty empty.
I'd like to mention in reference to the organization of Ms. Diaz and her staff, getting it all together, organized for everyone to be there, the buses, the fans, the board members, anyone who was able to go. It was super organized. Even Ms. Diaz spent time decorating the hotel rooms. So there was a lot of effort and love involved by herself and staff, and I'm very appreciative of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guzman. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you all. I think we're going in the right direction. We can feel it. I think the community feels it. It's good.
Thank you.
I like it. All those in favor? Pass unanimous. Okay, 8F, consideration and possible action regarding the request to purchase trust properties number 12732, Unit 1, FCS, Lot 254, developed.
So the official request is attached. This property was struck from the roll following unsuccessful sheriff's sale. The property is held in trust by the Kinney County Appraisal District for Kinney County Bracket ISD, Fort Clark, Mud, and the Kinney County Groundwater District. There's been no property tax paid on this property since 1991. It is Unit 1 of Fort Clark Springs, Lot 254, undeveloped. It is the recommendation of the administration to approve the offer submitted by Charlene Cavender in the amount of $300 to purchase trust properties. Account 12732, Unit 1, Fort Clark Springs, Block 254.
Do I have a motion to accept the administration's recommendation?
So moved.
Tony makes a motion.
Second.
Wait seconds. Any discussion?
And I just was inquiring earlier today as to whether this was a specific, related to a specific event that I was aware of involving a snafu with a sale, with an auction. I'm told that this actually predates that auction that I was thinking of. So, but I do think we need to be aware of, any outside issues of some of these that may come up in the next days ahead. I don't think that, based on what I had heard, I would just have questions if this was that sale, but it's not, so.
I think one of the things that will help with Mr. Benacci's request is when we get the letters, if they'll tell us when the sheriff's sale, the unsuccessful sheriff's sales was, then that might help.
Yeah, this one seems to predate the incident, so.
Correct.
That being the case, I have no objection.
Okay. All right. Then you vote, all those in favor? Pass unanimous. We're on to 8G, consideration and possible action regarding the superintendent evaluation tool. Everybody received their tool, right? An email. That's usually what we use to evaluate our superintendent. In the past, that we've used it for the last at least 6 years that I've been here, so.
It's attached on your.
Yes. established the date, right, correct?
Mhm.
So, this is what we use, everybody takes their own evaluation and, write into what you feel, how you grade her, or our superintendent, and then we'll come in and discuss it, and go from there. Is there any things you guys want to change about it, or is there anything you guys have pushed about?
Is there a deadline for the change?
Well, we do this, what,
So this would be actually where you're approving the tool. So once this tool is approved, then this is what you all would use. As Mr. Rodriguez mentioned, so you have a copy of it. I think in the past also, Ms. Beto can send it to y'all. You fill it out, write your notes, and then I believe it's January 8th. Y'all will come with your copies. I'm not present during that meeting. You all discuss, and then you take your individual ones and make one file.
okay, so the background is as per BJCD, B1 and local, the board shall prepare a written evaluation of the superintendent at annual or more frequent intervals. The board shall furnish the superintendent with a copy of the completed evaluation and shall discuss its conclusions with the superintendent in a closed meeting. And that, it works, it works well, once we get on in here together and discuss it, it's a good tool, it's a very good tool.
Well, it's like the type of recommendation used.
Right.
Superintendent and anywhere in Texas too.
Okay.
It's 10 pages, it's about there.
So do I have a motion to approve the superintendent's evaluation? No.
I'll say.
Okay, Whit makes the motion. Ricky seconds. Do we have any discussion? All those in favor? Pass unanimous. Item 8H, first quarter investment report, Mrs. Basta.
So the quarterly report is included for you for the quarter ended 9/30/2024. And the interest rate for the bank and trust was at 2.3, for the pool 5.27, so you can see that it's beginning to drop, and it's dropped a little more. The first quarter interest earned is 64,333.06 for the year. And the balance at September 30th for the pool, 3.3 million, and then 630.
Molly, will you read the background and the recommendation?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. So not just importantly, the investment officer or officers prepare and submit to the board a report of investment transactions for all funds covered by the Public Funds Investment Act for the preceding reporting period. This report is to be presented not less than quarterly, and it is the recommendation of administration to accept this first quarter investment report.
Do I have a motion to accept the administrator's recommendation?
Motion.
Matt makes the motion.
Second.
Matt seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? Pass unanimous. 8I, budget amendments. Mrs. Garza.
There are two budget amendments there. Budget amendment BA 1101 is related directly to the appropriations set aside for the incentive pay for December 6th, which was approved at a previous board meeting. And I believe we may have calculated 110, 115, but we are bringing an amendment for 105,000, which includes the salary and a little bit of the fringes. So it's our recommendation to approve budget amendment DA 1101 as presented.
I'll make the motion to approve BA 1101 And I move to postpone consideration and possible action regarding budget amendment DA 1102 until after closed session. So I get a second?
I'll second that.
Matt makes a second. Any discussion? On 1101?
Straightforward.
Okay. We vote to pass that, right?
Yes.
All those in favor, pass 1101, that's unanimous. Okay. Superintendent's report.
So a couple of things on the superintendent's report. First, some completed events. The first one is the Fall Festival, which took place October 28th. Seems like a lifetime ago now. Usually the Fall Festival is done by our PTO, but it's something that's very well loved by our community, so we wanted to keep it going. So again, another one of those things that my staff will say, Ms. Diaz and her shenanigans, and I said, we'll pick it up, let's talk to the campus principals, and so we pulled it off, and we had a very successful Fall Festival, so it was great. The fentanyl student training is a new state requirement, so we are required to train all our 6 through 12 grade students on the dangers of fentanyl, and so we did that on October 30th. As mentioned already, we did send Matthew Schwattner, he was eligible for the state cross-country competition. Area band was very successful, and we made it to state. End of the second 6 weeks was November 8th. We had our state band competition November 12th, and our kids did phenomenal. Side note on that, I think we looked up that there are 226 2A school districts with a band, and so we came out 16th. So when you think of it in that perspective, our kids did just a phenomenal job.
They don't divide them like they do football.
They don't divide them. And so I'm glad that you brought that up. The top 4 schools that made it to finals all had 91 or more students in the band. The one that won had 140 students. So they were as large as one of the 4A bands that were there. So Mr. Jimenez, myself, Ms. Price, Mr. Miller, our brains are already going on different things that we can do for next year. So we're very excited. You might see Mr. Jimenez out there teaching flags. We had our National Honor Society induction last week. And then I did want to publicly thank you all for the Team of 8 band pizza party. So as a team of 8, all board members and the superintendent and myself contributed, and we had a great pizza party. I think they really enjoyed that. So upcoming events, Wednesday we have our Thanksgiving luncheon. I think tomorrow is the last day to get your tickets if you want to come eat lunch here. We have our Thanksgiving fall break next week, November 25th through the 29th. Our next board meeting will be on December 9th. We have our College and Career and Military Readiness Day, CCMR Day, scheduled for December 11th. And then I do have some department report highlights. So first of all, I had not shared with you all that we were invited, I was invited to attend a gala in San Antonio that was by the San Antonio Blood Drive Foundation. And we were invited because of the blood drives that Brackett ISD puts on. And so it was a very nice event. HEB sponsored the table for superintendents, and so I was given 6 HEB turkey vouchers. So I raffled those off today, and 6 of our staff members are receiving a turkey voucher. So I thought that was kind of cool. In regards to athletics, I think one of the big things to highlight is that the junior high and high school football team had 100% passing rate for the first 6 weeks. So that speaks volumes about our athletic director and making sure that kids are passing academics comes right in line with athletics, and so thank you for that. And they didn't have a single ineligible player in their program, so I think that was phenomenal. We did wrap up the volleyball season. One of the goals was for the girls to double their wins from last year, and he was pleased to share that they did achieve that. So although we didn't go beyond district play, they did meet their goal. Of course, we had Matthew completing at the state level. Really working on those junior high teams. Junior high volleyball was up at 6:30 a.m. for practices. They showed some significant improvement, and we're looking forward to what the next year brings. In regards to cafeteria, they have served over 14,571 meals already. The Thanksgiving celebration is on November 20th, so they are busily getting ready for that. Custodians and maintenance, they are diligently working on work orders that come up. Seems like we're always playing catch up with custodians and maintenance. We don't get ahead, we're working on things as they come in. They did some paint work. And then, of course, they also work late evenings whenever there was volleyball games and football games, so we really appreciate them. Jones Elementary, I want to highlight that their attendance is right at the 96 mark almost, 95.92. So we know that we're going to get there. Their discipline is actually down from last year, and the discipline that they are dealing with, I think it's important to note that it's basically first grade students. And so they're still working on social skills. So it's not anything of a huge deal. It's really just working on social skills and an appropriate school behavior. We had a beautiful Veterans Day ceremony. If you have the opportunity to be here, Mr. Miller, job well done to you and your staff. It was a tearjerker. It was really very, 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 very nicely done. I love that Mr. Miller put in his narrative that, it seems like we've had something come up. We're having a last minute pep rally. New sport is coming and we're having a weather assembly. We're having, so they've learned to say we roll with the flow with a smile. So you can definitely see that culture and climate is positive and the staff is doing what they need to do. So thank you, Mr. Miller, for a job well done. Over at the high school, their attendance, again, is also showing some improvements. Again, right under that 96%, they were at 95.4 of some of their highlights. Of course, our Tiger Band has did a phenomenal job. But one of the things that I really wanted to point out was, as of right now, 100% of our high school students are set to graduate with some sort of certification. So that is a great, great improvement, a great task, Mr. Jimenez, on making sure that certification is going to be within their reach. So I'm very proud of those students. Technology department, they continue to focus on some things for safety and security. Mr. Munoz is still working with Intertail. We have the Annex fire alarm set and ready to go, and they're no longer having to do fire watch. Mr. Miller is still having to submit his daily fire watch log, but we're almost there. Technology has replaced 8 outdoor PA horns. All our panic buttons, batteries have been updated and to make sure that they are maintained. And then Mr. Munoz and I worked on a cybersecurity plan that was required by TEA. So making sure that our security access and network access falls in line with what needs to be happening in regards to cybersecurity. From the Director of Instruction and Accountability, October 14th was our professional development day, so we made sure that we did our required training. One of the things that Ms. Price and I have been really working on is providing training with experts from within. So we feel like we've got some really great staff here, and so we have people like Ms. Richard providing training to staff, and it was very well received. Curriculum, they're liking this idea of having that full day to be able to plan. Snapshot was October 25th. So Snapshot is the day that we have to make sure that all our data is clean for PEAMS. And so Christy Price works very closely with Christy Bettis to make sure that our PEAMS data is clean, and we were able to submit that. Our Stronger Connections grant, that is a new grant. We were able to hire 2 part-timers to make up a full-timer to help us with some of the compliance requirements for that Stronger Connection, since we weren't able to hire a full-time person. We actually are in the middle of doing our state interim assessments, so that's our benchmarks and some of our practice tests. We'll have our first round of official and of course exams in December, and Ms. Price makes sure that we're all set and ready. And then one of the things that I really want to highlight is our District of Innovation teachers. I'm very grateful that Ms. Price has taken the lead there on meeting with our DOY teachers, seeing where they are with the programs, making sure that they have support systems in place. We've gotten a tutoring program for some that just need to take a test. So, and making sure that we're monitoring them so they're not just kind of dragging along, that they're actually making that progress in order to get completely certified. So, those were the highlights from the Director of Instruction. And then, I think that is all I have. Yep, that's it for me.
You guys have anything to say? No. Everything's good? Coach? Good.
Good time to be excited.
That's right. I'm willing to cancel Thanksgiving in my house, so we're gonna do it Friday.
That's the goal.
There you go.
That's the goal.
Maybe I should hold on to those vouchers in case we have to.
There'll be a pep rally on Friday, correct?
Pet rally will be Thursday since y'all approved the calendar change. So now there's no school on Friday. Teachers will be here Friday, but no students, so pet rally will be Thursday.
And then we'll probably plan a community seminar.
Community center on Friday.
Okay.
But we'll get that information out to y'all ASAP.
All right. Well, that said, pursuant to Government Code 550.071 and pursuant to Government Code 551.074, we will go into executive session.
Thank you, principals, directors, thank y'all very much for being here.